Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe. So that means that this car or truck or SUV, not sure which Jeeps kind of fall into, is a plug-in hybrid. Why would anyone want a plug-in hybrid Jeep? This SUV, I'm going to go with SUV, is the best-selling plug-in hybrid on the market today.
Who?
Best-selling plug-in hybrid above all the other meager beta.
You're a beta male, Sonic.
Plug-in hybrids that they have on the market. I actually am not the biggest fan of Jeeps. I've done a little bit of driving in this one. It's time to kind of get in and see what makes this Jeep kind of special. But before that, a couple of the key items here that I wanted to highlight. So you see the Rubicon here. Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge are very good at this shit. They call that electric blue. Super innovative color name. And it has these sort of not just single HIDs. And then like this cool 4xe on the badging here, the tow hooks. Dead giveaway. They are that electric blue as well. Accents here too, where you see that's blue, that same electric blue, and that's like a Willy Jeep, and it has this E here too. 4E badge. That is the battery. It doesn't interfere with any of the underpinnings of the car, which makes it really good because this is an off-road vehicle. Look at that. Totally the same as a normal Wrangler. Shouts out to Chrysler for being able to do that. I think it's important too for me to show you what's underneath the hood because that's where all the magic happens. I'm an idiot. There is none here. That's kind of crazy. So like, if you have a Jeep, you just have to like live in a place where no one knows how to open Jeep hoods, because like otherwise, like, can anyone just go and open this, right? You have these latches here. Another one here, as you can tell right there, that open the hood. It has to have a latch. I haven't seen one of these. Like even my 1994 F-150 had the springs to hold the hood up. We have a 2-liter turbo. I think that these make about 290 or so horsepower by themselves. In this application, this makes 375 horsepower. Oh, you can see a little turbo there. Look at that. Yeah, a little turbo.
I didn't even know you were in there. Wow. I didn't even know you were in there.
That's a lot of power. 375 horsepower is basically what a 5.7 Hemi makes today. It's got power of a Hemi.
I want more. And I know I shouldn't.
It's supposed to get better fuel economy. On paper, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, they have good ideas. This does not seem like a bad idea. Living with this for a little bit, I'm kind of like, there's a couple things I would fix, but to be honest, I'm super excited to just drive this and show you guys. All right. Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe. Let's get it. Ooh, he's making hybrid noises. And I see a bump. Fuck that bump. That is the joy of driving a Jeep. Oh yeah, get a little bit of that too. Okay, so that's a way to start. So the car starts in hybrid. Start in a mode that you want it to start in every time, as far as I know. All the locking doors, keeping me secure, because I drive through the hood.
You're lying so much.
Why? So we're in pure hybrid mode right now, and you can tell by the tachometer that is resting on 0. We are moving on pure electric power. That battery back there is actually quite small. It's adequate just to scoot around town. It smells very Jeep. So Jeeps have like this weird smell, and it smells like sweet something. I kind of like it, but it's probably going to kill me or someone in 15 to 20 years of constantly smelling this foreign substance. It's actually quite quiet. Actually, I'll take that back. There's a little bit of wind noise that's coming from one of the compartments up here. I like the way Jeep Wranglers move. They have this like weird shimmy about them, and I was talking about this in the video I did for the Grand Cherokee, because I've driven another Wrangler before with the Pentastar V6, and I'll even say just right off the bat, like this car is better damped. It might be because of the extra weight. This Wrangler comes in around 5,400 pounds, which is pretty heavy for something in this segment. I think a regular Wrangler is just around 5,000, if not a little bit lighter, depending on the configuration. Of course, if you get a two-door Wrangler, it's even smaller. That girl's digging up her nose. And she just ate it.
Nasty.
It's got the same ergonomics of a regular Jeep, which actually aren't too bad. It's got this really nice screen here, which has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto if you're a peasant. You can also go through the vehicle screen here and interact with the different modes here. And you can change it. You can go to eSave. The system is charging the battery and actually going to run the engine even when you would typically have it turn off because of the auto start stop function. It'll run the engine to charge up the battery, which is kind of weird because it kind of defeats the purpose of having a plug-in hybrid. Like if you're just using the engine to charge the battery, isn't that kind of defeating the purpose? But I will say, if you do enjoy driving around on electric only and you don't have the opportunity to plug this in, it's nice to be able to drive around and charge the battery up and then be able to use it at your leisure. And it's actually pretty well executed. Like over driving this car for about a half an hour or so, I was able to get about 30% of charge. Now, granted, that 30% of charge doesn't last. It works. So obviously, like all plug-in hybrids or vehicles with electric propulsion these days, you have regenerative braking. I will say that the regenerative braking in this car is actually pretty well dialed in. You'll find with a lot of other cars that it'll be very touchy. In fact, the Grand Cherokee that I reviewed was one of those vehicles. Can you hear that buzzing? If you can hear that buzzing, that is the motor holding rev, and it's charging the electric battery that I showed you guys that's under the rear seat. I don't see this as a bad alternative to the regular turbocharged Wrangler. This is actually an upgrade. I don't know why anyone, aside from the price, which I'll put up here, it's a little steep. It's a lot of steep for a Jeep. But Jeeps just demand a premium, which to me is just like, I don't know. It's a lot of money for an SUV with manual seats that aren't heated. It doesn't have the independent rear suspension. You're looking at a 4Runner or something like that. You don't miss it. But if you're comparing this to like a off-road version of like an Explorer or something like that, then this definitely is not. It's not as luxurious. You don't get as much, especially for the price. Listen to that turn signal. Why? Why does it sound like a clock? The switches on the inside, I mean, they've been doing this for a while. The idea, I guess, is all the switch gear is just one unit instead of having one on each of the doors, which saves some money. They're auto down, but they're not auto up, which is kind of goofy. It has the USB-C, a regular USB-A, and an auxiliary cord. Would I buy it? TBD. If I was in the market for something like this, potentially. But I've learned to love Jeep. Let me start by saying that. Let me not talk about whether or not I will buy it, but think about who this is for. Imagine yourself. You're cruising around in Atlanta. You and all your other bad bitches hop in the car. You're about to go out to some restaurant for brunch. You take the doors off, put on some Sexy Red or some Glorilla.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
And y'all hop in, take the doors off, blast music, maybe go to a beach, and like you're not taking this on the sand. It's a nice SUV. You might, depending on who paid for it, if you or your sugar daddy did. This is not a 4Runner. I know a lot of people compare this to the 4Runner, but honestly, I feel like the 4Runner is not really trying to be a Wrangler, and a Wrangler's not trying to be a 4Runner. I know we always try to like compare the two, but they're not the same. It's just it's a different customer, and I don't know how to exactly explain this, but it's true. But with that being said, I like the Wrangler. I like this electric Wrangler. Chrysler, you didn't do too bad of a job. And the biggest part about this is that it has a lot of horsepower.
Can I get a more power, baby? A more power, baby! Testify!
Oh, that picks up towards the end. Okay. That was actually pretty good. What was that? 0 to 60 in... What was that? 7.1 seconds. It like steps up the power. It's so weird. It's like a gradual swell of power. I'm not sure why they tuned it that way. Maybe it saves the internals. It like you don't get all the power at once. It doesn't feel like 375 until you get into about 50 miles an hour. And I'll give it a little more juice. Then you feel it. Yeah, that's so weird. But I like it. I kind of like that. It's manageable. Probably won't get you in too much trouble. It's probably good for efficiency, honestly. It's an SUV meant for off-roading and for fuel economy. It's not meant for, burning down the street and all that kind of stuff. Love driving this. Love that I got the opportunity to drive it. And let me know what your thoughts are. Are you a Wrangler girl? Or a Wrangler dude? Let me know in the comments what you think. And until then, peace.